Hi, I'm Emma Stabey. I'm the Head of Digital at Nutrien Ag Solutions. We have a team of about 50 people here who are working on building a direct-to-customer digital channel that complements our customers' interactions at branches day to day. We have built this channel because we want our customers to have access to all of their business with Nutrien 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, so that even when they're sitting on the couch at night or sitting at the kitchen table over dinner, they can check their account activity, they can access local or global market information and take action with their accounts so that we reduce the stress day to day in terms of how they interact with us and making sure that we're always available to meet their needs. So my specific role within the digital team is to really think about, well, what's our future digital strategy at Nutrien Ag Solutions? So what should we be focusing on to make sure that we can deliver the most value to our customers and also the most value to our business? So day to day, I'm working, leading a team, thinking about the different functions that exist within that team and making sure that the squads, so we've got 3 digital squads that work on different parts of our digital experience, figuring out what are their roadmaps, what are the priorities, making sure that we're abreast of the rest of the ag tech market so that we know where we sit and what kind of features and functionality are going to be really important to our growers and that complement their day-to-day interactions with branch. Day-to-day is really different within a digital team, so we have lots of different people from different modalities, and also given Nutrien is such a big and complex organisation, there are a lot of different stakeholders that we need to work across. So an average day can be meetings within the digital team, leadership meetings within kind of broader Nutrien stakeholders, catching up with people from the marketing team, the finance team, the broader technology team, having meetings with our colleagues and stakeholders in the North American business. And sometimes we actually get into meeting rooms and we whiteboard and workshop and draw pictures and ideate, and we think about, well, what does the future of our customers' digital experiences need to look like, which is probably the most fun part of the role. So we try and make it fun. We play games on our virtual meetings if we're working from home. So we really try and make sure that it's engaging, meeting with our customers and also being in constant contact with our branch network to understand what's working, what feedback are they getting back from our customers so that we can make sure we're continually evolving the experience that we're providing to our customers day to day. Within Australia, obviously the production of food and fibre is really critical to our ongoing successes as a nation. My role in that seems a little bit, I guess, indirect. However, when you actually step back and look at it and you think about agriculture going forward, it is becoming more and more complex as an industry. So as farmers, as growers on the farm, there are more things that they need to think about. So day to day, there's more technology, there are increased government regulations and compliance that they need to think about. You've got increased global information that they need to keep abreast of. The needs and demands from customers are obviously increasing over time. So even though we're not on the field with the farmer, we kind of are, because if we're providing them with a digital experience, that means they can actually do orders that go through to our branches straight away. They can access finance that helps them actually finance the inputs. That means that when they may not have been able to grow crops one season, that we can actually facilitate the growing of crops. So we are providing them with the information, the data, the content that they need to actually be able to make timely decisions so that they can have the most productive, efficient and profitable businesses in agriculture, and we think that technology is a key lever to them being able to do so, which therefore has a direct impact on their ability to actually produce the food and the fibre, not only for Australia but for globally. From a sustainability perspective, technology is a really big enabler of sustainability on the farm and also across the business commercially. So sustainability is about how can we help our growers take on more sustainable practices. But beyond that, it's also about how can we actually connect growers to broader supply chain options, because they actually are producing products that are sustainable and have increased demand from your big supermarket buyers and those types of commercial operators. So within the digital team and within the broader Nutrien business, there's a really big focus on technology enabling, providing solutions to our growers so that they have the tools available to understand what their carbon footprint is. We are then able to provide advice to say how they can actually adjust and evolve their practices to be more sustainable, which therefore means that they're going to have access to better markets to actually deliver their products, which means instead of price takers, they can become price makers. So within the digital team is really the key word. So as I mentioned earlier, we're about 50 people, but we've got multiple functions. We have people who are engineers, we've got people who are business analysts, people who are product designers, product managers, agile coaches, the list goes on and on and on. Now, we can't produce anything in terms of working software unless all of those different people and all of those different skill sets work together on a day-to-day basis. So every day we're having team meetings, people who are within their squads. They have stand-ups every morning, checking in what they're working on, what the progress is they're making, if they've got any issues, and then that gets escalated. Then I might need to have a couple of meetings during the day to help people prioritise or work through some really tricky or challenging problems. And in addition to that, we're also working across the business. So we're working with our colleagues in it and what we call our subject matter experts, with the people in finance, in marketing, in the sustainability team, within the branch network, because we really need their specialty and their expertise to help us develop digital experiences that best align with how our business works day to day from a process perspective. It links into our background systems, and we're also going to meet the needs from a commercial perspective of the business going forward. So day to day, all of our interactions can be really, really varied. Different people, different types of roles, different levels of leadership. So the ability to actually connect with different people in different ways, understand what they need, what they're after, is really critical as part of working within a digital team and producing software that ultimately is going to meet the needs of the people that are using it, which is our growers day to day. One of the best parts of working within a digital team is that we can actually imagine a better future. So what we can do is we can look at, well, how are our customers interacting with us today? And what we actually do is every piece of work we do, we start with defining what the problems are. So what are the problems, what are the challenges that our customers are having today in working within a certain area with Nutrien? What are the business problems that we have today within that same area? And then we use our skills and we use our multidisciplinary capability to say, okay, how can we actually overcome those challenges? How can we solve those problems? What are the options that we have available to us? And then what are the technology considerations that we need to take into account to then be able to get to what we kind of call the future state scenario. So when we're solving problems, we say, what is the current state? And then we ideate and get really excited around what the future state could look like, and then we look at what the desirability, feasibility and viability of those different future state options are and try and narrow it down to something that we think is going to best suit our customers and best suit Nutrien as a business. The perfect example of that is we knew when we first started building our digital experience that our growers really hated their statements. So every month they get their financial statement and there's lots of numbers on it and lots of totals. And when we started talking to customers and the branches, what we quickly learned is that it was really difficult to interpret, what do I need to pay? Every month our growers didn't understand how much they owed Nutrien. So a statement, a printout statement, is a really difficult thing to evolve and work with because it's a point in time. And so luckily, as a digital solution, we can think quite differently because digital can be real time. So we can take data today and we can present it to make sure that growers every single day of the week, every single day of the month can be up to date with what they owe Nutrien. So that was one of the big problems that we started with. Now what we have is a design in our Nutrien Digital Hub that really helps their customers know what do they owe now? What are they going to owe later? What is the detail of that? And that is dynamic, it updates every day. If they go into the branch and they make a purchase, that's going to be reflected on Digital Hub. So no longer do they have to wait to the 25th of every month to know what they owe. We now can provide them with that information any day of the week, any time of day, and they're much better placed to then be able to make really well-informed financial decisions because they know how they're tracking during the month, not only when they actually get to the end of the month and get their financial statement. So that was one big problem. We had to join together all of these different data sets. All of our customers had individual accounts that we couldn't actually join together. So one of our big challenges was, as with a bank, joining all of a customers' accounts together, and we had to overcome that challenge for us to be able to present a unified view of a customer's financial situation, which we have now done. So it's a really exciting advancement for Nutrien and one that holds us in good stead going forward. So from a future perspective, I'm going to be a little bit biased here and say that I really do think digital is going to continue to grow and become a key lever within the agriculture industry. Why do I think that? Because I think as generations are starting to, or as the generations are starting to change over on the farm, we're getting younger generations coming in and actually taking the helm. And these people, they've grown up with technology, everyone's got their smartphone in their pocket, and they're used to being able to have things on demand. They're not used to having to sit down at a computer, download paper statements, or access information only at certain times of the day. So I really think that from a customer perspective, there's going to be a greater demand, but also because agriculture is becoming more complex, we think that technology is a key way for us to simplify all of the different elements that a grower has to work with and take into account on a day-to-day basis. Farms are becoming bigger, more people are involved, there are more complex decisions that need to be made, which require a huge depth of data, both in terms of the amount of time that you've been able to analyse that data, and also the different areas and different geographies that you can look at. So we truly believe that technology is one of the big levers that we're going to be able to use to help our growers get access to the information when they need it, that we're going to be able to help them answer the questions that they've got to make the most profitable and productive decisions that are going to help them run their farms on a day-to-day basis, which, trying to sit down and do that manually is going to be really tricky. And so we think that is a true benefit of digital, is that you've got the power of AI, you've got the power of big analytic systems sitting behind the scenes and automation, and that is something that I really do believe is going to help us progress into the future, not only as Nutrien but also across the agriculture industry more broadly. I started my career journey I first started studying actuarial studies, which is a really weird and wonderful course which is all about mathematics. So I thought that I was going to be some maths genius, which didn't unfortunately end up being the ultimate result. It wasn't for me, I didn't really enjoy it, and it was a really, really challenging course. So I actually changed tack and I went to commerce. I did a combined commerce and science degree. I then realised that science wasn't my thing, so I just finished off with commerce and I went into PwC, one of what at that time was a Big Five accounting firm. Over the last 25 odd years, I've taken a really weird journey. So I've worked at PwC for 3 years. I then went to work at a startup. We developed software for financial modelling. So we worked with investment banks and accounting firms. And we tried to make the process of building financial models for government projects or for private projects much easier. And then I hopped across in the internet boom to Seek and worked there for just over 13 years. And that was my starting point to really start to understand digital and the power of online experiences, and that's where I cut my teeth and eventually moved into this space, which I absolutely loved. And why did I love it? I loved it because I get to work with so many different people. So, you know, instead of just working with all accountants, or instead of just working with, you know, all agronomists, I get to work with so many varied people on a day-to-day basis, and that for me was really exciting. It was inspiring, and knowing that I can actually build digital solutions which help people day to day improve their quality of life is something that gets me out of bed in the morning. So that's kind of how my career got me to where I am today. Ultimately, yeah, heading up the digital team at Nutrien, which is, you know, a really fantastic and proud, I guess, achievement to know that I'm having a small impact on, you know, the ability of our growers to actually produce the food that's on our table and the clothes that we wear. In my role, there's lots of skills that you know, are important. However, I can probably narrow it down to 3 really key skills that I think are critical. So, first one being able to problem solve. So, the one, I guess, constant with digital is that there will always be change, and you can always predict that. You can think that, you know, you're going to go and build something in a certain way, and the first conversation you have with a customer or someone that's working within the branch, guaranteed that it will change and you'll have to adapt. So one of the most important things is that you have to be able to take new data points on, and you have to be able to use those data points to actually then evolve and change your decision making along the way, so that you can create better solutions that actually meet the evolving needs of the people that you're serving. So problem solving is number 1. Number 2 is it all comes back to data. So the ability to actually look at spreadsheets, understand the data, and you can't expect, you know, AI to do it all for you. You really have to dig into those numbers, understand it, understand the context that sits around those numbers, because it's not just about the numbers by themselves, it's the context in which you're interpreting them and analysing them. So ability to analyse, question, be curious and understand what's actually sitting behind the numbers, I'd say is number 2. Number 3 is your ability to communicate, your ability to interact with different types of people. So soft skills, knowing how to, you know, resolve conflict and have difficult conversations, but in a really respectful and lovely way. So one thing about work is that you're not always going to get on with everyone. You know, you don't always want to be everyone's best friend, but you really need to be able to work productively together. And that's where being able to just respect people, respect how different people come to the workplace and everyone's intentions is really always good. And that really allows you to get the most out of your teams and the most out of what you're focusing on day to day, which for us is building digital software.